Hi, my name is Julia von Klonowski and I am the Digital Director of Career Colleges. So career colleges operate within the further education sector, mainly for 16 to 19-year-olds, and it's about preparing young people for a career. So young people go to schools and they go to FE colleges and they learn a curriculum or a subject. But that isn't necessarily just what employers are looking for. So what employers are looking for are young people who've got the right attitude, the right business skills and the right personal skills so that they can have a successful career. So it's not just about their first job and getting them through that first interview, but actually preparing them with transferable skills that they can use for life. So today I have with me two fantastic young men, Jason and Ed, who come from Barking and Dagenham College. We recently had a competition with Amazon Web Services and Comic Relief in which they had to come up with a solution to attract their age group, actually 16 to 24-year-olds, to being involved with Comic Relief, because this age group don't watch television in the way possibly that older people do. So these two actually won, along with two of your other teammates, classmates, actually won the overall competition. So we're very, very proud of you. So well done to both of you.
Thank you.
Before I actually talked to them about the project they did in the second phase, because we did the project in two phases, and the first phase was the students had to come up with an idea that other students from our other digital colleges could also develop. And Jason came up actually with one of the winning entries. So Jason, how did it feel on the day when you were presenting to 120 people when they actually were presenting your idea? Because it wasn't just your group that did it, but actually from 3 other colleges that did it.
Yeah, I think it was amazing, really. Just working for so many months and then on the final day, seeing everyone coming up with their own innovative ideas based around your own. I think it's a really cool sight to see. It just shows all their work and it's based on my idea.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is everybody takes it in a different direction. So although you all learnt about malaria, but everybody developed a different solution based on really what was a one-page idea of yours. So that was really fantastic.
Yeah.
So what happened was I prepared a brief with Amazon Web Services and Comic Relief that the students had to read, and then they had to develop an idea which they were going to present in 8 weeks' time to a group of 120 people. And that's quite something, because you know that everybody was aged between about 16 and at the most just over 18. So to suddenly present into 120 people was quite something. So how did you start and how did you prepare, look at the brief and start thinking about what your idea was going to be?
Yeah, so initially the brief was to raise awareness about 3 topics, and the topics were red handprint, VR, think, feel, do, and malaria. So since I came up with the concept, we pretty much knew what we were doing, but also while we were doing it, we had to always raise awareness, let people know about it, as well as creating a medium for young teenagers to use and enjoy.
And you obviously had challenges, because there's no way in an 8-week project, and one of the things we did was you weren't allowed to select your team this year. You were actually given the people that you had to work with, and the purpose behind that was when you go to work, you don't get to select who you're going to work with, you just kind of get given people and you have to get on with them. So what kind of challenges, Ed, did you kind of come up against, and how did you deal with them?
Well, luckily a couple of my teammates I did know before, but there were others that I didn't know. So one of the main ones was communication, trying to keep in contact with everyone. And so we created groups on WhatsApp, we created Discord servers for us to talk on, just every sort of platform we were communicating through. And there were times where a couple of us, we went to go work in Prague for 2 weeks. So there was a period of time where there was a lot less communication than there would have been if we were at home. And then when creating the app as well, obviously that took quite a while for me to do. And we're going to run into lots of errors and bugs because I'm using a platform I've never used before. So I'm learning at the same time as creating the app. And so because I'm learning it, that takes a bit of a longer process than if I knew how to use it beforehand. So yeah, just learning how to use this new platform.
So it was quite a learning experience. And what was really good is that some of you are on different campuses, so actually using digital technology to communicate, which is what I would expect from your age group, was really key to communicating and success, wasn't it? Particularly if you're in Prague and others of you are in this country. So that's really great, really great. What do you think, Jason, made your particular solution stand out? So why do you think you got best overall in the end?
I think it's 100% because we actually created an app. We developed an app using Game Salad. No one else actually, they did like presentations, they did animations, videos, but our solution, we had a good moral around it, and we got the opportunity to present it to everyone, to the judges, and they actually got to have a feel for it. They had an actual experience. So I think, yeah, just actually developing an app.
And have the live demonstration as well.
Yes.
Yeah, as well, yeah.
So I know that it was unanimous with the judges. So the judges were Amazon Web Services, Comic Relief, the Lawn Tennis Association, and I backed out of it because I was now so emotionally involved. But it was absolutely a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
And the reason being was partly your presentation and your reflection, which was really, really good. But it was the way that you interacted with the audience and also the way that you kind of looked into malaria. It was very obvious that it quite moved you,
Yeah.
what you had discovered and how little it would take to actually fix the problem, which is true of lots of our issues. So that was really... So what do you personally think you've learnt from the experience? So I'll ask both of you. So if you can both just briefly say, what do you think you've personally learned?
Yeah, just a very wide range of work attitudes. So time management, definitely. We had to arrange meetings to discuss about what we're going to do, updates and all that. So we all knew what we were doing, all up to date. Teamwork, definitely, 100%. We have to work with each other.
And the strengths and each other's strengths,
yeah. Otherwise, we won't get anything on. And yeah, effective communication, 100%. Even though we have had challenges with it, we'll definitely take it into account next time we do something like this.
And there's no doubt for all of the successful ones to put this on your LinkedIn profiles and your CVs will just make you kind of step ahead as far as interviews and things. It gives you something interesting to talk about, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Ed, what do you think?
It gave us a good sort of corporate experience, and as well as everything Jason said, we also got to learn a lot about malaria. I personally got to learn a lot about how to develop apps and the different processes behind developing the apps and maybe trying to put them on the Play Store or the App Store. And obviously, as you saw, I put all that on LinkedIn, and I've only got 20 people on LinkedIn, and at the moment I've got 830 views of that post. So yeah, it's really that's quite a good idea to use.
When you put that post up, I immediately got a response back from Comic Relief, the LTA, and from Amazon that they had seen the post and they were really impressed.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have put your head above the parapet as well. So it's really good to do those, things. So that's great. So you're both level 3 year 2, yes?
Yeah.
So what happens next? What happens next in your life? Jason, what happens next for you now?
Well, definitely I'll be looking into a lot of works that probably surround this idea, because it actually gave me a lot of employability skills. Collaborative works are definitely, they really push you into the future. They really develop your personal attitudes and work attitudes.
So what do you think you'll do when you finish this course and you finish this year? What's your next step?
Probably, apprenticeships, and I want to really develop my understanding of the real life.
So a degree apprenticeship or an apprenticeship, but in the digital space?
Yeah, in the digital space, definitely.
No, fantastic. And Ed, what are you going to do?
Well, I've had 4 uni offers so far from
Fantastic.
Reading, Surrey.
I would
and
expect
Essex.
it of both of you.
I was also offered a degree apprenticeship, but they wanted me to start straight away, so I had to turn that down because I wanted to finish college first, because no point in doing 3/4 of the work and then backing out. And I'm also in the interview process with Capgemini for a apprenticeship in cybersecurity.
Fantastic.
So just put myself out there in those different places and then choose from what I get offered.
Yeah, fantastic. So you've both done really well. So well done. I'm going to ask the audience, so has anybody got any questions they'd like to ask?
What advice would you give it to me if I wanted to do the same project and try a new thing?
So if they were going to do the project, she's going to do the project in the future, what kind of advice would you give to students who, because we will do the project every year to help because it builds these kind of business skills. What advice from your learning, because you've done it for 2 years now and this was your first year, what advice would you give them going forward?
I think as soon as you're given the brief, start working on it straight away, because the earlier you start on it, the less stress you'll have and the less likely you are to back out, because there's a lot of people that then backed out and they missed out on a really good experience. I've now made a few connections now within Amazon, and I've now got like the CTO of Comic Relief on my LinkedIn, I've got people that work within Amazon on my LinkedIn. So I got to create sort of good networks with those, and just the whole experience really, with actually being able to say that you went to the Amazon headquarters and you presented an idea, and what you won and what you gained out of it. Because even people that lost were so happy that they got to have that experience. They're also thankful of it, and they weren't really losing. They hadn't won anything, but they hadn't lost anything really either, because they got to have the experience of going somewhere and presenting an idea, and the whole sort of project planning experience.
Part of the project is a budget and a project plan, so it's just the beginning of being able to understand it. And when you go for an interview in your whichever job you go for, they'll want you to understand how you plan for things, but whatever part of work you do, you've also got to budget it. But actually that also plays back into your personal life, because if you're earning £100 a month, you can't spend £120 a month. You want to only spend what you earn, and the same with planning. So I think for both of you, you knew the date you were going to present on, so you kind of work backwards from that date, because that date's immovable. The other stuff is. Jason, what advice would you give?
I would just say stick to it. A lot of people dropped out, and I think they really missed that opportunity. So if you're ever having problems, just like talk to someone about it, see what you can do. And in the long run, it's really worth it, especially the prize as well. It's quite rewarding.
So I'm hoping next year that the guys that do this year will mentor, some of them will be around to mentor the students that we do next year, because learning to mentor people is also a skill for life. Actually, it's something that most big companies like Amazon encourage their staff to do, because you learn how to help other people, and let's face it, that's what this is all about. So, and I think my last comment is the comments back from Comic Relief and from Amazon and from the Lawn Tennis Association was they were blown away. So there were a few tears, but also just amazement that people your age would produce what you produce. Because I think several of them made the comments when they were talking back and giving you some feedback that they couldn't have done it at their age. They couldn't imagine doing it at their age. So generally, everybody who's involved has floated on a platform for about the last week or so, because it just felt so good. So thank you for what you gave back, because it was just amazing. So thank you.